The tiny criminal. He knows no boundaries. He was sent to prison for committing every single crime that is punishable by law. I mean, every crime is punishable by law, but he's committed every crime. Very soon, he is about to break out of this prison that he's in. You can even see right now, he has crafted a makeshift hammer to break down the door, and he's about to pull it out of his pocket. He will use the hammer to escape this prison, as you can see. The door opens and immediately runs out of the cell. He grabs a gun from the gun rack and immediately starts shooting the police officer. The police officer doesn't have a gun. Somehow the police officer doesn't die. Then, as soon as every round is fired out of that machine gun, he immediately runs out of the building as he sees the police officer get into his police car. He tries to hide from the police officer, but the police officer chases him. He tries to trick the police officer. The police officer does not. The police officer follows him, but he hides. And he makes a run for it. He is about to go to the bank and immediately commit another crime. Robbery. As you can see, he's about to walk to the bank. Since he is the tiny criminal, it takes a few jumps for him to get on the counter to get the cart to the vault room. As he gets in, he immediately pulls out a bomb somehow and blows up the vault. He immediately takes the money from the vault. He jumps into this vent, goes into the ventilation system, finds a crack, and he goes into a secret tunnel. And he immediately goes in this room, stomps down on the ground really hard, and finds a secret hatch. As soon as he finds this, he knows the police could have had something to do with this, because there were police cameras. He immediately checks the cameras and gets a glimpse of the police officer leaving the police station. And he looks all through the cameras. He looks near the bank. He sees the police officer starting to flow into the building. One has a gun, one for some reason does not have a gun. The one with the key card immediately checks the vault. And then he comes out of the vault, realizing I'm not there. And he had the same idea as me. He went out and went through the ventilation system. He found the crack in the wall and he went down the vent. He immediately jumped out of the chair as he realized he could be approaching soon. And he was in a panic. He takes a few minutes to see if he enters. And by a few minutes, I mean 1 minute. Or more. He can't count. And he immediately goes up to where he thinks he is, where the person is, the police officer. And for some reason jumps, thumping his head on the thing, then pushing the button by cracking his skull on it. And then he immediately sees the police officer. Shoots him. The police officer. Tiny criminal runs for it. He realizes he went through the wrong tube in the wall. And he goes immediately to this one. He checks with hesitation to see if he's still there. He immediately runs after checking and goes through the secret wall hatch, whatever it's called. He goes through the door and finds a four-wheeler in front of the bank that he will steal. For some reason, it is not locked, which is very strange. It does not belong to Tiny Criminal. Why would it? He's 2 years old. Nobody believes that he can speak perfect English, but he told this to me in a very mean manner. He immediately goes to the gas station, somehow knowing something would be there. Jumps out of the four-wheeler. Sees a horse and a danger, keep out sign. He immediately goes in despite the sign. And he finds a secret lab. He looks around, and then you get to see from his view. He looks around. There's a sign that says power on. What was this powering? PSU Infinite Plus, it says. He immediately runs out of the building, thinking something was wrong, and that he should never go back in. He will soon go back to his bank hideout, and he will end talking to me and giving me this report on what he did. He walks in a very weird way. But first, he goes to a house. He gets on a bike that he can somehow ride without any training wheels. And goes up to this tree house. Somehow knowing that he sees a weird woman with an umbrella. And then he sees what he thinks is the owner of the house. So he immediately goes up and breaks into the house. It's very slow that he breaks into the house, but eventually he gets it. He breaks in. He hears knocking at the door. He immediately runs up, thinking that's the owner of the house. He finds the safe, blows it up, and takes all of the money. He immediately runs out of the building, breaking out of the building. This is a very slow process, but he does it eventually. Then he sees a bed suddenly appear that he can glitch through the wall with. He makes it through the wall, jumps down the treehouse, somehow doesn't break any of his little soft baby bones, and a woman spots him, and he immediately gets on his bike and runs away. He will soon go to his bank hideout, and he will stay. He hopes nobody finds him there, but the police officer already knows that he could be seen. He opens it, goes in, and then he stopped giving me this report.